Well, the other major announcement that I wanted to look into was related to one of my favorite games, Elden Ring. Is there a trailer for this? Let me try to track it down. Because okay, it's called NIGHTREIGN. Let's check that out too. Yes, official trailer. 3 minutes long. Okay. But one second. I don't like hype years in advance. Too much waiting. I don't know. I kind of like it. It depends on how many years in advance. Like, are we talking Elder Scrolls 6 years in advance? Or are we talking like a year, maybe 2 years in advance? Because, I mean, I'd like to live to see the game come out, actually. You know? Elden Ring NIGHTREIGN announcement. Let's check it out. Reveal gameplay trailer. Ooh. This is beautiful. It always is. I mean, it's Elden Ring. Of course it's going to be beautiful. Elden Bun. What? This is burning. What is the blue flame that stretches across the land? This consuming the things, even the grace? Yes.
Seekers of redemption.
Bird?
We were chosen.
Birds arrive.
By forces
flying.
Beyond our control.
It's other people. MMO? I'd play an MMO. I'd play that.
Tragedy must be averted. And
Looks
for
like a
that,
Sin Eater
I need your help.
versus Ardbert. Man, this bird is super cool.
Stand tall.
Stand tall.
The night is far from over.
Oh no! I can already feel myself panic rolling.
Backing the lands of gold.
Oh, that's...
I will swat away
Yes.
any and all who dare approach.
Man, I love this VA. Y'all know I have a soft spot for him. I'll play the game just for that VA.
Band together and prepare to claim.
It's multiplayer. It's straight up.
The life of the Night Lord.
It's a Morgott. The Night Lord. That's me. I hate the sun. I'm nocturnal. 2025, but when? What if it's the end of the year? Wow, that looks pretty awesome. But is it multiple? Okay, I need information. It says NIGHTREIGN is a standalone adventure within the Elden Ring universe. Rise together, join forces with other players to take on the creeping night and the dangers within, featuring a 3-player co-op. That sounds like it could be really fun for the stream. That actually, what it means is that I can Well, I was gonna say get carried, but in Elden Ring, I don't really do that. In Elden Ring, I have a tendency to just make it as difficult as possible for myself because the game makes me enjoy suffering. So I like to make it needlessly hard. Become a hero. Take command of uniquely skilled heroes, each possessing their own abilities and oh, so you pick a hero that's already like okay, so it's not quite like picking a class in the original version of the game. While individually powerful, their skills grow even more formidable when united as a team. Okay, so you need a meta comp, is what you're saying. Overcome a relentless environmental threat that sweeps through a land that changes between each game session. And defeat the boss of that night. Cool! I think it sounds really fun. Yeah, we have no plans for more Elden Ring DLC or a sequel. Technically, it's not. It's a spin-off, right? It's a spin-off. Well, I'm excited. This is one of my favorite games ever, so I guess this means that I need to I need to start and do the DLC that I didn't do. I was really hyped for, and then Dawn Trail came out, and I just never got back to it, but man, even just watching this unrelated trailer makes me want to do the DLC finally. Damn, miss it so much. You can see all the info in an IGN interview article. Oh, really? Okay, let me hunt it down. Night Rain. We played it. Ooh. They played it? This means that we can do this together on stream. It's going to be so fun. Okay.
Software isn't done with pulling the rug out from under the
Wait a minute.
fan base just yet.
No.
With the surprise
I don't want IGN notifications. No, thank you.
from the discovery of sprawling subterranean otherworlds to the startling second phases that completely turned the tables in so many of its boss fights, 2022's Elden Ring was a mesmerizing action RPG adventure that surprised players at every turn. Now, more than 2 years later, it appears that developer From Software isn't done with pulling the rug out from under the feet of its fan base just yet. With the surprise reveal of Elden Ring
Pulling out the
NIGHTREIGN,
rug.
a standalone co-op spin-off that
It's a new rug they're rolling out.
takes the cautious dungeon crawls of Elden Ring and turbocharges them into propulsive slash and dash speedruns. After spending some 6 hours of hands-on time with this bold new spin on From Software's own Souls-like formula,
Not
I
with
can
me in
confirm
your
that
group.
NIGHTREIGN is shaping up to be something truly unique.
Yeah, it
If
looks like
Elden
he's
Ring
reading.
was one of 2022's biggest chart-topping hits,
Wait, is he reading this article? Yes. Yes. Okay, well.
then NIGHTREIGN would appear to be its dance floor filling remix. Chopped up, intensified in beats per minute,
Yes.
and designed to both excite fans of the original and broaden its appeal to the masses. Now, unfortunately, because it was such an early build of the game that I played, I wasn't able to capture any footage, even though it was running great on PlayStation 5. So I apologize for the generic footage I'll be using here, and also for my generic face. Anyway, here's how NIGHTREIGN breaks down. Imagine stepping back into the opening area from
There
the
you
original
are.
game.
Var.
Only nothing in the landscape seems to be where you remember it.
How I missed you.
Also, there are 3 of you now, and
Okay,
only
wait, sorry,
next
I got
down.
distracted.
Imagine stepping back into the opening area from the original game. Only nothing in the landscape seems to be where you remember it. Also, there are
Okay.
3 of you now, and everything seems to be happening at a much higher tempo.
So no Vara.
That's NIGHTREIGN in a nutshell. You squad up with 2 other players at the start of each round, get dropped into a densely packed alternate reality chunk of Limgrave that has both its enemy types and structures randomly shuffled around at the beginning of each session, and it's up
Okay.
to you and your squad mates to build up from your lowly level 1 character's status as fast as possible by harvesting runes and earning Destiny style loot drops as you slash and dash
Wait a minute. Is it like Fortnite, but
through every enemy-filled camp that you come across. So,
Or
what's the
dropping
big
in
rush? Well, each session of
Caelid,
Night Rain
y'all.
is structured as a 3-day cycle, with each in-game day taking about 15 minutes
well, no,
to
because we're working together.
complete. At the start of the first
Working
day,
together.
you can pretty much pick any direction to plot your whirling path of destruction along, but as day approaches night, the space
Monster
you can
Hunter-ish.
operate in narrows, and you're liable to be killed by acid-like rain should you find yourself caught for too long beyond the perimeter of the rapidly shrinking circle on the map, known as the Ring of Rain.
The rapidly shrinking circle on the map. Okay, I mean it does call back those
In
ideas.
that regard, Night Rain
Yeah.
is a bit like Fortnite,
like
only with
Fortnite.
more medieval forts and knights and considerably less TikTok dances. Once the Ring of Rain reaches its smallest diameter at the end of the day, a major boss fight is triggered. Like the rest of Night Rain's enemies, these end-of-day bosses are always randomized, and during my repeat runs, I experienced clashes with familiar returning foes like a draconian tree sentinel, as well as some brand new nasties like the centipede, a towering, twisting swarm of disgusting limbs, prone to detaching its body parts in an attempt to divide itself and conquer my crew.
That's a real picture from this. Yeah.
With the day 1 boss dealt with, day 2 begins.
kind of
prone to
limbs?
prone to detaching its body parts
Those are... It looks like toenails.
in an attempt to divide itself and conquer my crew. With the day 1 boss dealt with, day 2 begins and the Ring of Rain rescinds, allowing your squad to take a breath, regroup, and then resume ransacking the map for upgrades in preparation for the more challenging foes to come at the end of days 2 and 3. It's a structure that allows for a gradual build of tension before a palpable sense of accomplishment and release with each boss felled. Over time, my squad mates
That's
and I
what you
became
expect
a
from
well-oiled
Elden Ring.
machine as far as getting the balance right between beelining for churches to snatch up valuable HP flasks and taking down the more major overworld enemies like dragons and hippos in order to get maximum XP boosts for buck before the map was cast back into darkness. We were also able to eventually settle upon the best combination of heroes for our group. You see, Night Rain doesn't feature the lengthy list of generic character classes that the original Elden Ring did, and players won't have
You
to
pick
Google the difference between
a
vague
hero.
sounding archetypes like the Prisoner and Wretch when they first hop into play. Instead, Night Rain offers 8 different heroes to choose from, each with very clearly identified strengths and weaknesses, in order
Okay.
to make it as easy to jump
You
into
pick a hero.
as possible. 4 were playable in the preview build. Wilder is an all-rounder hero type with a good balance between speed and attack power. Guardian is a burly tank type with heavy attacks and increased damage
Wait,
resist
what?
type with a good balance. 4 were playable in the preview build.
Okay.
Wilder is an all-rounder hero type with a good balance between speed and
Fighter.
attack power. Guardian is a burly tank type with heavy attacks and increased damage resistance. Duchess is a
Tank.
nimble type with fast attacks and a killer quick-step ability.
Okay, Rogue.
And Recluse is a mage type with ranged magical attacks.
Well, I'm probably gonna go with the rogue.
Additionally, each character features a unique skill and ultimate attack that both operate on cooldown timers.
Or fighter.
Wilder is able to use his hookshot skill to either reel in smaller enemies like Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, or to quickly zip past the swinging arms of a major boss in order to sneak a few strikes in from behind. Guardian is able to conjure up a mini tornado to knock swarms of enemies off their feet, while Recluse can put a marker on an enemy so that every time that enemy is attacked, the damage is siphoned into boosts for her own HP.
Okay.
These unique abilities are all extremely useful in their own right, but finding ways to combine them with the special moves of your squad mates is key to surviving Night Rain's toughest enemy encounters. One strategy that my squad grew to rely on quite heavily
So basically, this is not asking you to build a character or like get deep into the ins and outs of designing your character stuff. Like, it's supposed to be just plug and play. Like, you hop in, you got your hero, you can fight now, without you needing a lot of knowledge or like build up to be able to just go straight into a boss fight that could be engaging for you and your team.
Was to unleash a damaging ultimate attack on an enemy, such as Guardian's swooping dive
It seems like just much more fast-paced gameplay loop.
bomb, then immediately follow it up with Duchess's restage skill, which basically creates an instant replay of the last attack landed and allows you to double the total amount of damage inflicted. It's in finding killer combinations of moves such as these
like
the
that.
cult focus of Night Rain really shines.
Oh, I like that.
And after multiple failed attempts, my squad was finally able to progress through to the third day of the cycle, which climaxed in a fight against a snarling, Cerberus-like beast called Gladius, which forced my team to coordinate and queue up skills and ultimate attacks with painstaking precision in order to overcome it. Gladius is just the first of 8 major bosses to take down in Night Rain, each with their own 3-day cycle leading up to them. In addition to the randomization of enemy types and structures, further wrinkles will be introduced into each boss cycle.
So far, I think this is a good idea because I think that this is going to target people with extremely short attention spans, maybe younger people who might fall off of the original game before they get a chance to get some really exciting abilities and fight exciting bosses. It'll give them that taste of how fun combat can really be whenever you do advance further in the original game. That might bring people into the OG game.
Such as live volcanoes and forests full of rot, in an effort to prevent the landscape from ever growing too predictable. That's along with random events like meteor strikes, swarms of giant ants to fend off, and the surprise invasion of powerful tormentors like Margaret the Fell Omen in an attempt to impede your progress. In addition to the approachability of its roster of playable characters, Night Rain has polished up a lot of Elden Ring's more abrasive edges to make it a far more friction-free experience. The new wall jump move allows you to quickly hop up and over steep sections of the terrain, while the removal of any fall damage means you can lunge off cliffs or down dark holes without pausing to study your surroundings for safe platform.
That kind of makes sense because they want this to be faster paced. But I don't know about removing fall damage. I think jumping up the big cliff makes sense in this setting, but I don't know about removing the fall damage. Maybe you should have just reduced it. The friction is part of the experience, okay? You can't remove all the friction.
Lunge off cliffs or down dark holes without pausing to study your surroundings for safe platforms.
Is this a player ability?
Walk near a site of grace to top up your health and flasks. And if you want to spend some runes to level up, you just button mash through pages of auto leveling that best suits the base traits of your chosen character. Rather than having to agonize over whether you should allocate a point to faith or dexterity, for example. It all gives each session the feeling of being shuttled along in an intense speed run.
Yeah.
And you can get around even faster by using spectral hawks to vault across great distances of the map. Death is not necessarily the end in Night Rain either. If you find yourself down, you have a near-death meter that appears above you, and your squad mates must attack you while you crawl along the ground until the meter is reduced and you can return to the fray. It may sound slightly odd to basically kick a friend while they're down, but it's a system that works quite well. Particularly since you can use ranged attacks like magic or crossbows to revive a down squad mate from a distance without the risk of putting yourself in harm's way. Should all 3 of you be wiped out at once, it's the end of the session, and you must restart day 1 with everyone back at level 1. So you need to stay on your toes in order to keep the rest of your squad on their feet whenever possible. While there's no doubt
how much
that elements
leveling
of it
is
are
really
inspired by the likes of Destiny and Diablo 4, it needs to be said that Elden Ring Night Rain is not a live service game. Once you buy it, you get access to the complete package, and there are no battle passes or microtransactions to contend with. It can also be played in single player should you wish to stay offline, with enemy health pools that scale down so that it's not too overwhelming for solo players. Although, curiously, there are currently no plans to allow players to play in pairs. As someone who has sunk hundreds of hours into Elden Ring, both in the original 2022 game and this year's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, I can confidently say that From Software is onto something truly spectacular with Night Rain. Cutting throats at breakneck speed with a pair of friends in tow has been a consistently exhilarating experience so far, and especially gratifying when you work together to topple its toughest bosses using each character's special abilities in tandem.
I think this could be really
Assuming
fun.
the developers can throw enough randomized elements to keep each 3-day assault feeling fresh,
I do.
then Elden Ring Night Rain could well provide an exciting change of pace for existing fans and an enticingly accessible entry point for
Especially if they keep adding new heroes and they could add new maps and little things like that to keep it fresh.
newcomers when it launches sometime in 2025. So,
Awesome.
what do you think?
I
Are
think
you
it sounds
excited
really
for Elden Ring
good.
Night Rain, or
Yes.
do you prefer things slow and steady rather than rough and ready?
I like
Let me
slow
know in
and
the comments
steady,
below, and be sure to read
too.
my full impressions and get your
which is why I need to play the DLC. I can't believe it's been this long and I haven't done
feelings
it
for all
yet.
things Elden Ring Night Rain.
When can I
on
do that?
IGN.
Not next week, because next week I got Final Fantasy 14. Big gaming plan.
Band
This looks
together and
really
prepare
fun.
to claim.
I think this is the gateway drug for Elden Ring for the person who would not ordinarily play this type of game. This is the game that you can get your friends into to get them have a cool Elden Ring experience, and it might then inspire them to play Elden Ring after that. Because it's set up to be a little more fast-paced. It's a speed run. You're just, you know, flying and skipping and racing through the map to get to the middle and fight really quick. Like big, quick dopamine rush. And I think it's going to be pretty effective for introducing new kinds of players to the game, which is really healthy. And it does seem fun even if you already are a veteran. At least I think so. But I guess the proof is going to be in the pudding way. And we'll see. But I feel good about it. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really, really cool. But usually they don't miss, right? Considering your run-ins if you all die and can't go back to the fog wall without starting from day one all over again, yeah, I think it is going to be punishing enough as it is. I think that's fair. Hey Zep, I think I might have a fun way for you to replay 14 from the start again. The rule is you can only equip gear and use items you make yourself from level 1 to the start of Dawn Trail. That's a cute idea. I mean, maybe. Did you watch the Witcher 4 trailer? Yes, I did. I just saw it. We just watched it, so we will be putting that on the Zep Live probably later. But oh my god, that was one of the best game trailers I have ever seen in my entire life. I was just on the edge of my seat. It felt like watching a movie. Incredible storytelling. Amazing. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for that game. Cinema. It was cinema. It was incredible. They cooked. They really cooked.